Hello everyone, welcome to the 2019 SGFOA Weekly Training Video Series. On this, the preseason episode, we're going to review the 40 and 25 second play clock. This is actually a huge rule change this year, so we're going to take an in-depth look at it. Well, before we get into the football, I just want to take a time to wish happy birthday to everyone in our association. Have a great birthday whenever it happens. This year we have a new feature, that is Guess the SGFOA Mystery Member of the Week. Every week we'll feature a new member with 3 hints about that member. The first person to email me with the correct answer for that member will receive a limited edition SGFOA gift. And now for our 3 clues on this week's mystery member. Our mystery member did not weigh 100 pounds until he was in the 10th grade. He also played clarinet in the marching band in high school, which makes sense with the weight. And finally, his first rock concert was Led Zeppelin. So if you think you know who this mystery member is, please send me an email. And the first response that is correct back wins.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
After about a 3-year test period throughout a few states around the country, the NHFS has instituted the 40 and 25 second play clock as a consistency creator throughout the country this year. This is probably the biggest rule change in about 40 years in high school football. It affects every play. So as we see here, this is a punt play. So we're going to go, I'm telling you in the future that it's going to be, B will be the next to put the ball in play. So whenever B is gets the ball and starts a new series, the play clock will start at 25 on the referee's whistle. So as you can see here, the crew's moving the ball around, getting ready to set it up. And at this point, this is pretty much just like we did last year. As you can see, when the team's ready, it goes at 25 seconds. And once the play starts, the clock's dead. And then here's the new change for this year. Once the play is dead, the clock should automatically be set at 40 seconds and start moving. You'll see the line judge and linesmen will raise their hands to let the play clock know it's ready to go. Once the ball is set and the umpire's moved out of the way, as this was a first down play, the clock was stopped by rule. But unlike last year, the referee will not blow his whistle on the ready for this play. He will just wind the clock and we'll move from there. So now you can see the team's getting ready to line up again. So if you're a play clock operator up in the booth, you need to be on your game because as you can see, the play's over, you had to stop it and now reset it, and you're going to be about ready to start it again right there. So the play clock operator's got a lot of things to do and not a lot of time. So once that play's over, you got to get it reset and ready to go. So one of these conditions is going to be the big change from last year that a lot of referees are going to have to get used to, is that there is no ready for play on this play. Once the umpire moves away, we're not going to blow a whistle. The play clock's going to keep running, and it's the teams to make sure they're ready to go. We're not going to give them any signal that the play clock's running. Now at 10 seconds, if a play clock is visible for both teams, the back judge is going to do nothing. But if the play clock is not visible, once we get to that 10-second moment, the back judge is going to raise his hand up, and at 5 seconds, he's going to give a visible count down to 0. Now the snap occurs right before we get to 0 again, but we have the same thing going. We're just doing the same thing, rinse and repeat. Ball's dead, we're sending it back to 40, and we're going to wind it down. No ready for play. As a crew, we're all signaling each other, but there is no ready for play again in this situation. So what we're going to see in this next play is a long pass out of bounds. You can see it right there. So when a ball goes out of bounds like that, you could run into a situation where it takes a while to get the ball in. Now, the procedure is going to be, if the ball is not set by the time the clock gets to 25 seconds, you're going to pause the play clock, or just stop the play clock. And once the ball is set, you're going to reset it back at 25 seconds. Now this video here is from last year before the 40-second clock went in, so that's why they're not stopping the clock. Once the ball is set, the referee will give a pump with one arm to the press box, let him know to reset the clock to 25 seconds, and he'll give a ready for play once the ball is set. Now during this whole time, the game's clock is still moving, but the play clock will not be moving. Right here we had a timeout called on the field. The timeout will affect the play clock by, once we come back, it'll go to 25 seconds, just like it was in previous years. So once again, we're going to have a punt, so the B team will be starting a new series. So whenever that happens, the play clock will be set to 25 after this play ends, and it will be started on the referee's ready whistle. Now the video coverage of this play wasn't good, so we go on to second down, which was a running play, and we started at 40 seconds, and we're running it down just like usual. Now on this next play, during this play, you will see a penalty flag flying near the end of the play. So what happens at the end of that play will be there will be an official's timeout. You'll see the referees or officials stopping the clock. So you'll see the penalty flag flying here in a second. And now the crew, once they realize there's a penalty, they will stop the clock and will go to enforcement of the penalty. So nothing will change the enforcement for how we've done it in years past. Everyone will be doing their proper things, checking to make sure everybody's in the right spot. But once the ball is spotted, you will go back to a 25-second play clock, and the referee will either chop or wind the clock once it's ready to go. So that's a good couple plays showing you how the play clock is going to be used this year. A good rule of thumb is if you have an official's timeout, you're almost always going to be starting with a 25-second clock. All live ball plays that are continuing a series will usually have a 40-second clock coming after them.